In Week 18 of the 2022 NFL season, with a 4th and 20, I believe it was, quarterback David Mills threw a touchdown pass to presumably tie the game against the Indianapolis Colts. But Lovie Smith decided, hey, we should end things here on a good note. So he and David Mills go for 2 and are successful, leading the Texans to win that game against the Colts 32-31. Thus, unfortunately, losing out the number 1 overall pick to the Chicago Bears. That offseason, the Bears, content with Justin Fields, decide they want to trade that pick and try to get as much capital as they possibly can. To their surprise, not only did Carolina want to throw them a crap ton of picks, but they also elected to give them DJ Moore as well, leading the Panthers to jump to the first pick. They grabbed Bryce Young, and the Texans would end up settling for CJ Stroud. Fast forward to the end of the 2023, where Carolina made 0 progress and finished with the worst record in the NFL. But thanks to a trade with Chicago, the Bears ended up with a number 1 overall pick instead of Carolina. And with that trading Justin Fields in the offseason, the Bears take Caleb Williams with the first overall pick. So thanks to Davis Mills, we have 3 whole quarterback changes in the last 2 years. Texans seem very happy with it. Bears, to be determined. But one thing's for sure, Carolina is in hell. Hello everybody, and welcome to Week 5 of the NFL season and my prediction picks. I'm your host, Catherine, and you are on the Blind Canadian Cat YouTube channel. I say meow, I roll intros, Maya's over there, chilling as per usual. And look, I bought a pair of shorts with every logo on them. It's quirky, it's stupid, but I love it, so I'm rolling with it. I like it. Best $30 I've ever spent. But like I said, welcome to Week 5, everyone. Let's just head over to last week and see how we did with another middling week, as one would expect. I'm just kind of hitting averages so far this year. 9-7 straight up, we take it. 8-8 against the spread, probably the 3rd week in a row I've done that. Over-unders fell off a little bit, but again, it's all hit or miss dart throw picks. And even then, I was, a point or a point and a half away with a lot of these totals, at least when I got them. And then fucking the Titans decided to, you know what? 4th and goal, 30 seconds left in the game. We're already going to win. It don't matter. Now, let's not kneel it. Let's run a play. And look, we scored a touchdown. So now our margin of victory is even greater. Fuck you. Fuck you, Mason Rudolph. I hope you have to play the Browns sometime. But anywho, we are 34 and 30 straight up. 31 and 33 against the spread. And 35 and 29 on the total through 4 weeks. And now we get into the bye weeks, where teams are getting that extra rest, and the London games, where teams get to travel. All that and more for this lovely, lovely Week 5. So let's get into it. And the first game I want to talk about, of course, the headlined game. And by headline, I mean the most drama in history as of recent days, with the Bears and the Panthers. The Bears and Panthers made a trade. Thanks to the Texans winning, the Bears got that first overall pick in 2023. They could have drafted a quarterback. Bryce Young was there. CJ was there. Anthony Richardson was there. Quarterback options aplenty. But the Bears are like, nah, we like Justin Fields. We're going to keep him 1 more year. See what happens. Panthers are like, not only do we want to give you our first round pick and like 12 other picks. It was only 3, but shush. 12 other picks. We'll give you DJ Moore. So Justin Fields should have weapons now to do stuff with. That was the plan. And because of that, Carolina gets Bryce Young. They move on from, I don't even remember, from the failures of Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold in 2022. Or whoever the hell else was there. Because I already forgot now at this point. And, turns out, maybe the Panthers are the problem. Because while Bryce Young looks bad, here we are now in 2024. Baker Mayfield looks great. He looked great last year in Tampa, looking great again this year. And Sam Darnold's leading the Vikings to 4-0. Carolina is the problem. Though that being said, the fact that Andy Dalton is having somewhat success, I mean, I wouldn't say success, he won a game, but who knows? Who knows? Carolina's got a lot of problems. Quarterback is not the only one. Hopefully these receivers, they got Johnson, they got Leggett, they're looking like decent weapons. But who knows what the problem is in Carolina? It's a lot of things, and a good owner would definitely help, which they don't have. But that's off-field drama. Let's talk about the game now. Andy Dalton starting, so the Bryce Young pick trade is all looking really bad. Caleb Williams hasn't really looked like Caleb Williams. He still thinks he's in the Pac-12 and can run around and pull off miracles. Bitch, nuh-uh. Welcome to the NFL. Shit's not easy. It's not easy. But what does this game mean? The Bears, they've been carried by their defense. That offense has not looked good in any way, shape, or form. And outside stat padding against the Colts, they have not looked good. They simply have not looked good. It is what it is. But the Panthers, they're a bottom 5 team in the NFL. Let's not get this construed or misplaced or anything. And yes, trust me, I took the Panthers last week because I thought it'd be the funniest shit for the Bengals to fall to 0-4. And, you know, Andy Dalton revenge game. It'd be funny. It'd be funny. But, nope. Bengals got back to form, so maybe they're on a roll. We'll see about that. That being said, though, if there's one thing that's consistent between any of these teams and their units, it's the Bears' defense. And that's why I think Chicago wins this game. Now, if you want to take Carolina because Bears have no offense and, you know, Carolina tends to win games when you least expect them to, it'd be kind of funny. But the Bears' defense is the one that makes the stand here more than anything. And this is going to be probably a dogfight of a shit show. Ooh, take that under. If it's above 40 in any way, shape, or form, take that under. It's going to be ugly. That being said, though, even when the Bears do win, they get lucky breaks for their scores. And I don't know if I'm comfortable laying 4.5 on them. Yes, the Panthers should be a bottom team, but I'm not convinced the Bears are a top team. The defense is good. The offense has a long way to go. And that head coach and or offensive coordinator will probably be fired at the end of this year. Just saying. So that being said, I like the Bears, taking the Panthers against the spread. We move on. And the only other game really I think worth a damn to cover would be the Sunday night game with the Cowboys and the Steelers. Who doesn't love history? Who doesn't love rivalries? Who doesn't love the only teams who have played in 3 Super Bowls against one another? Or the only matchup that's happened 3 times in the Super Bowl. 2 in the early days, 1 in the 90s. History speaks for itself. Now, I found this is the first primetime game these two have had since the 80s. Or at least that's what the Sunday Night Football broadcast said. That's crazy to me. Because you'd think for historic value... See, this is my beef when coming up with primetime games. Either make it an interesting matchup, division rival, or give us some historic value. Like, Bears-Texans, I fucked with. I don't know if I would have made it a Sunday night game, but I fucked with it for the story. Not that I ever agree with it, but Cowboys-Giants, Cowboys-Eagles, those games make sense for primetime. But that's my beef. If you're going to do a primetime game, make either the game worth noting. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, great names. Two of the top three quarterbacks. You want them in primetime against each other. Yeah, you're going to get a blowout game like that every once in a while, but that's what you want. Cowboys, Steelers, historical. You want this. You want this. And plus, both teams are usually above 500, at least in the last couple of years. And while I can't say you should trust either of them, they look good. Cowboys, I don't know if I want to buy into yet, but I know they're better than their record. So I'm rolling with it. Steelers, Mike Tomlin has a way of coaching a team to a winning season. They don't really do a lot lately, but they win. So you give them credit. Historical value and two teams that should be better than them, most that are among the better half of the NFL. Let's say it like that. That being said, Steelers, I'm trying to not take some games too into value, because like we learned, a lot of games are just blips in the road. So you gotta pay attention to those blips. Is this a sign of more to come, or is this just a one-off thing? Tampa, Philly being great examples. Tampa shit the bed last week. We don't know what to do. Come back and dominate Philly. Philly held Saints offense to not exist at all. Won the game. Pay attention to blips. That being said, though, they let a quarter of Anthony Richardson and 3/4 of Joe Flacco dominate that defense, quote unquote. So I think the Cowboys, even though I'm hearing Brandon Cooks is probably out, I think that offense does enough. It could be a rough, tough, low-scoring affair, but I think the offense does enough. I like Dallas in this game. I do. And then I'll twist over here to give the rest of the games. Bucks over Falcons. Falcons got lucky. That offense did nothing. It was first touchdown. They muffed the punt, and it only fumbled to the end zone, so they scored on that. They got a pick six, and on that game-winning drive for the game-winning field goal, they did nothing. 3 plays that made no sense, a penalty that got them the first down, and Younghoe who had to make a 60-yard field goal, 58 I think it was. So that way they could win. No, I fuck you Falcons. I'm not buying into your hype. I'm just not. I don't know. I'm taking the Bucks. I think this is easy. Divisional games are divisional games, so anything can happen. But I'm not buying the Falcons. Same with the Jets. The Jets have been kind of inconsistent all year. And is Denver's defense good? It's not something I would have thought about. I don't know. Denver. I don't know what to do with this Denver team. Their offense is also non-existent, but that defense seems to be carrying them enough. So, tomato. But I don't trust the Jets. Vikings are 4-0, and usually their defense is great. Jordan Love just throwing a bunch of garbage time plays to get them back in the game, and they were right there. But no, I trust Minnesota's defense for the most part. And, I trust their offense. Their offense looks great. It looks great. So, yeah, Vikings should win in London. Ravens over Bengals. I'm not convinced with the Bengals yet. It's still early. And the Ravens. If that Ravens team that showed up on Sunday night shows up in this game, they're winning this game easy. Patriots over Dolphins. Dolphins are ass without Tua. Bills over Texans. I think Bills look for revenge, so they get this win. Plus, Texans have been meh. Eke out a win against the Bears, putting up only 19 points. Get blown out by the Vikings, who we are expecting to be good. And then go toe-to-toe with Jags. Which, yeah, divisional games, take out context when it comes to divisional games. But I think Bills want revenge after a non-existent performance. I think Buffalo shows up and wins this game. Colts over Jags. Jags are probably the worst team, but, divisional games, the Jags might sneak it. But I trust the Colts more than the Jags at this point. Commanders over Browns. Bump that shit up. Browns look like ass and Commanders look fucking great. bump that shit up. I think they win by 10 plus. I don't trust the Browns at all. Commanders by 10 plus. That -3 is easy money to me. Niners Cardinals. My brain should be telling me to stop favoring the Cardinals because I want them to be good. I want them to be good, but they just haven't been good. Haven't. And the Niners, they're good. They're great. They're getting back into form. I'm not too worried about their record. I think the Niners are still going to be one of the top teams when the year's said and done. I'm taking the Niners to win, but at 7.5, I might be a biased asshole to the Cardinals. I think that's all this is. But I think the Cardinals can make it competitive. Broncos over Raiders, not thinking twice. Raiders, I don't know what to do with the Raiders. And Denver has got a good defense. Apparently so. So I'm rolling with Denver. Seattle over the New York Giants, not going to think twice. Packers over the Rams. The Rams look bad, and I don't know how they bullshitted a win against the Niners, but c'est la vie, I guess. Now they're one off for the Rams. I've been trusting the Rams. Packers. Cowboys, Steelers, Chiefs over the Saints. And we'll go back on the Saints. Take out their 2 blowout wins. Their last 2 games that they've both lost. Shut down Philly. Shut down Atlanta. Again, Atlanta scored on a muff punt, a pick six, and a field goal that they only got in range to because of a penalty. I don't think Atlanta gained any yards on that through their players. They gained it all through penalty. But Younghoe is a top 5 kicker, so he was able to kick a 58-yard field goal. That being said, and the Chiefs haven't really dominated anyone. They've won by 7. 5, I don't know. Chiefs haven't dominated anyone, or 1. So give me the Saints plus 5.5. I do trust that defense. And Chiefs are going to have to adjust without Rice, which, yeah, they were able to spread them on, but can they figure it out now? Now that they have a whole week of planning to double focus on Kelsey, to play deep on Worthy. I don't know. It's an Arrowhead, so I think the Chiefs still win. Although part of me thinks, again, it's blips, it's consistencies, it's bringing everyone to average. I don't expect teams to go on these win streaks like they do. But I think the Vikings figure it out. I think the Chiefs figure it out. But I would not be surprised if either of them lost a game in the next 2 or 3 matchups. Now, if this game was in New Orleans, I'd be tempted to take the Saints. But even then, meh. But I'm going Chiefs. I'm not putting faith back in the Saints until they can prove it. But the Chiefs don't blow anyone out, so 5.5. I'm taking it. That is that. Go over to fantasy. We went 4-2 in fantasy leagues, including 3-0 in all the named leagues. In the LOA, the NFL YouTube I don't know why I said that. The Ante and Co. and the Progs Dynasty. I am 3-1 in the Progs Dynasty on a team that I'm not saying that I'm not going to say they should be tanking, but they should be nowhere near a top team. I'm 3-1 with that team. How? I don't know. I do not know. But we're making it work. We're finding ways to win, and I guess we take it. We take it one way or another. Anywho, that is going to be all from me today. Shout out to my friend Andrew Warren for the love on his Week 5 video. Thank you, Andrew. Shout out to Justin for his beloved Rule 4 that's been back with a mighty vengeance since not passing in Week 1. Shout out to Chris, because, I like bullying Falcons fans when I can. Fuck you, Chris. You got lucky. Period. And with that is all from me. I am Catherine. You're on the Blind Canadian Cat YouTube channel. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, Canadian Cat CP, the Instagram, Blind Canadian Cat, and hop into my beautiful Discord. Choose peace, accept love, and have big trust. Goodbye, Internet. Mwah.